everybody. It's Nicole Safely with I Am Fierce, and you are here for the Art of Confidence event, how to build unstoppable confidence and skyrocket your revenue. And I am really, I say this every time, I'm super excited. I get more excited every interview we do because we just have amazing folks that have graciously given their time and their talents to really feed into you and how to build confidence. And in this section, we're going to really dive into some tactical things that you can do around PR, but going to the next level, really looking at how do I uncover like myself and bring myself to this space so that I'm connecting with the right audience. And a little bonus, because if you've ever thought about writing a book, whether it's about your own story or your business or a combination of both, Bridgetta has absolutely got that experience and has something really amazing to offer you. So let's dive in. I want to tell you a little bit about Bridgetta Tomarchio. She is a serial entrepreneur, me too. But not only that, she's a soulpreneur, as she calls it. She's a model, a former actress, a host, a book coach who understands the entrepreneurial spirit and really leverages her big business know-how into success in the entertainment industry. She has been raised in big business, an entrepreneurial family. Bridgetta has followed her roots and started her own publicity firm in 2007. And we're going to dive in a little bit to her expertise as a sought-after actress and model and host. Like, she's starred in so many films and shows. She's appeared in campaigns for some of the most iconic brands in the world. Harley Davidson. What is this one? Extenze. I've not heard of that. Maybe my eyes are failing me. What?
You don't even want to worry about that one.
Okay. It's big.
And it's a big one, but
yeah. And my eyes, I'm like, I need my glasses. Ava Bodywash and a lot more. Her transition really though into full-time work behind the screen has resulted in roles as a publicist, business consultant, and a producer to numerous A-list celebrities. She's a consultant to companies large and small. I'm glad you're doing small business because I'm like, I'm not quite on the A-list, but one day. She works closely with Val Kilmer, who's been a major mentor in her career and applies her endless knowledge of the media and the entertainment industry to ensure the success of her clientele and her projects. Bridgetta, I am so honored that you would take time out. Your little guy's sleeping and really working in. That's the other piece I was like floored with. I'm like, she is doing it all. Has a 3-year-old. She's like, I'm working while he's sleeping. So welcome. Thank you so much for coming in. Tell me a little bit. It sounds like a pretty glamorous life. Like you were out in front of the camera doing all this. How did the transition come for you to like flip it and bring your talent behind the camera and help others?
It's so interesting because I've been in the entertainment industry almost my whole life, since I was 8 years old. And when I moved to LA in, gosh, what year was that? I think I was 20 years old at that point. I'm 44 now. But when I was 20, I was working for Val Kilmer and as an assistant. So I've worked behind the scenes a lot from, I mean, when you're an assistant, you're doing everything.
Yeah.
If you ever seen Devil Wears Prada, like that is literally
that was you. Oh my
God. Yeah, it's very intense. You're running the whole show, you know, and it's a lot of work. So I've also done a lot of behind the camera scenes. I didn't go full time behind the camera until 2012. And that's when I was like, this is my sole purpose. This is what I'm doing. And it actually happened because I was forced to. I was working on Harley Davidson, got in a really bad motorcycle wreck.
Oh,
and
dear.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. And just took a break from everything. I'm like, you know what? I'm done. Like, I'm good. I'm going to take a break from the industry. And I was shifting careers a little bit, trying to find my passions, what my passions were, to try and figure out a new profit and what I was going to do. And my passion has always been to help people. So at that time, I went back to school and I studied holistic medicine. And
oh, wow.
Yeah, it was a whole thing. And what I haven't told everyone is now I can say it because it's public, but Val, when he was going through cancer, he called me and said, I need your help. Can you come back up here? And so I was like, I'm only going to go back up there just to help with, you know, nutrition and to help him with like yoga and meditation and exercise and whatnot. And so that's what I did. Went back up there. And of course, because I've worked with him for so long and knew him so well, I started looking into the business and nothing was how it was. I was really shocked. And so I started just taking over. I'm like A-type.
Get out of the way. I got this. Yeah.
Exactly. I'm like, let me do this, let me do that, let me do this. And then sure enough, it's like, okay, I'm not out of retirement of this realm. I am back in. It was great though, because I got to combine my knowledge of the holistic medicine and just a different lifestyle back into entertainment. And I wished I had that years ago, because I would have been, I feel like, a lot further in my career if I had wanted to stay that path. Just knowing how to have that mindset to take time for you, because we don't always do that, especially as busy moms. We just don't.
Right. Yeah.
Or, as business owners, we don't do that. And it's so important. And so incorporating that into my life from then on out. So that's how I had kind of how I got brought back into it. And then really I wound up being COO of a company and running his tours and management and publicity all over again. So I was doing that up till 2018. I still had other clients, but as well, it was just a lot of work, and he was my sole sole person. That was my sole focus.
Yeah.
And I remember sitting in a bar one night, we were in a different town, and I always ate like 10 o'clock at night, right before the kitchen was closing, because it's the only time that I had, to myself, even a few moments.
Yeah.
So I ordered food, and I got there right before, and I remember just begging the kitchen, please just let me have
something,
whatever it is. Cause I was working, I'm not kidding. I was working 21, 22-hour days,
Oh my stars.
It was a lot. And I sat there and I ate my food, just thought, I can't do this anymore. This is not, I love him. I love what I do, but this is too much. What can I do to work less, get paid more? What does that look like? And I took some time. I finished out the tour. I got him settled, and I said, I can't, I'll work from a distance, and I'll work with, and that's what I do. I help. But it's been really amazing, because now I offer so much more from that, and so going straight back to PR and having my other client still working with him, what I came from that aspect was so many people would come to me and I'm ready for PR. Let's get started. And I'm like, okay, great. Let's have a meeting. Let's go over, your platform. And we get to their platform, and the website's not together, and buttons aren't working, and copy is inconsistent all over the place. And the colors are crazy.
I'm like streaking right now. Like, oh yeah.
Yeah. Having nothing to do with anything. And there's a whole psychology of color too. So that it's just a mess, where there's no emails or collection of emails, no funnel, it's nothing. So I would talk to the person and say, I would love to take you on as a PR client, but you are not ready.
Here's your checklist.
Yeah, exactly. Here's what we need. And what I started doing at that point, I used to just pass people aside to someone else, but I realized I know how to get them right. I know what media is looking for, or what publishers are looking for. I know what is needed to get there. So why don't I just do coaching? And that's how coaching started. So when I take a person on, if they're not ready for PR, we're going to start with coaching first and get you ready for PR. The question I ask everyone is, if you're going to be on Ellen or Good Morning America tomorrow, are you ready? Can you handle it? And most of the time, no, it's not. So
having the back end systems to be able to handle the influx of inquiry and people just literally wanting to know more about you, the weight of on the website. I mean, that itself, like, totally get it. Yeah. And then I can imagine, are you ready to service them? If you're not ready to offer your services and really have the time and energy to fulfill all the clientele, then what? Yeah. Exactly. I would love to be, I'll go on Ellen tomorrow, but I'm not ready.
And that's what I love doing. It's just there's like a magic to it, and it feels so good to help someone get set up for that. Like, I love watching the success of someone else. It just feels so yummy to me. And I have clients on Good Morning America, and it's been life-changing for them, in some ways. So you do have to have every little T crossed and every I dotted. And of course, there's some things that'll come up, something always comes up, but as long as the main foundations of your business are all in place, then you can be ready. And again,
when should somebody seek out PR? There's a difference between marketing and PR and advertising. What are the differences, and when would I know that that's the avenue I should go to advance my business?
Sure. That's one of the biggest questions I like to tell everyone. I am not a marketing person. I can do help with your marketing, but that is not what PR is. So the difference is an ad, which is advertising, is I am great. Buy my product. It's so good. You're going to change this and this, and you're going to feel great. I'm awesome. PR is that company's amazing. Let me tell you all about them. It's your testimonials, your influencers. Wow, this product changed my life. Oh my gosh, you have to try it too. That's the total difference. You doing it versus other people saying how awesome you are. And it's also, you know, being on all these different shows or placements, media placements, you know, it's people get excited because it's hard to get those. So it's either a paid ad, which everyone knows you paid for the ad, and it was a paid ad, or, you know, it's a billboard.
Yeah. Or
it's naturally comes up in a conversation. Or so, for example, if you're watching, I just think of Joe Rogan, for example, if you're watching listening to his podcast, and he'll clearly say it, and he'll say, this is an endorsement by, and you know, it's a paid ad, versus during later in the podcast, oh, wow, this is so good. This is the best coconut water I've ever had. Wow. And just places it there. That's PR.
Right.
It's different.
Yeah. Absolutely. And I'm thinking about our local radio station, the radio guy, the best steakhouse. He's got his own steak at the steakhouse. Like, he goes there, he eats the steak. He tells you about the steak. He loves the steak. Like, everybody wants a steak. You can never get one. You know, like, it just is what you do. So yeah, I mean, how much more powerful and impactful it is to have that firsthand unpaid. I mean, it's a connection, but it's an unpaid, endorsement. And I would imagine not just everybody has the connections to get into the places that matter. So I mean, you don't have to give away the secret sauce, but talk a little bit about that, like the ability to create those connections and what you do for your clients.
Connections are everything. I mean, really everything. That's what the entertainment industry is all about. Because I was behind the scenes and work for some A-list actors, my Rolodex is literally priceless. You know, I've worked with even some names, like, I hate throwing names out, but she's on my website. So the Duchess of York is another one. Many big names. So if I'm texting, so I can text many of them, texting or emailing, you know, it off the hand, like GMA, Good Morning America, they know that whoever I'm bringing them is someone of quality. So I just don't bring them anyone. And we have to find the right angle too. It's all about, you know, the angles.
Where's the audience? And how does it fit with them?
Yeah. And your publicist, whoever your publicist is, the biggest questions I would ask someone is, what is your Rolodex like? I mean, flat out ask them, what, you know, huge publications have you gotten on? Have you gotten your clients on? What are your connections there? Can you text someone? Can you pick up the phone and just get someone on? How quickly? Because that is huge. Otherwise, most publications and media, they're planning way ahead. Magazines, they plan 3 to 4 months ahead, sometimes more, where certain talk shows, they're months ahead as well. Some, you know, can do last minutes, but you have to know too, it's another thing I tell everyone, PR takes time. It's not an overnight success. Everyone thinks you're going to come on and get PR and you're going to be famous tomorrow. And that's just not how it works. In fact, I tell everyone it's a 6-month minimum. I won't work with you less, because I know we're not going to get there in less. Usually the sweet spot is around 4 to 6 months. So it feels really good, because around 4 months, everything starts kicking in at first, you know, all of a sudden, and you're like, wow, this is amazing. You're on this show and this show and this show. And it really does happen that way. And you can ask any of my clients, just however it is, it's like the magic number.
Fun. All right.
It's fun. It's like fun to watch that come in. And usually, of course, if you're getting people, you know, they're going to stay with you longer. You know? And I will say there's a big difference between marketing and PR again, because PR is, people will say, well, I'm not getting clients from this. My job isn't to get you the clients. My job is to get you the clout out there, the introduction. You need to nail the sales and the marketing. That's on your end. And I would run ads simultaneously. I would have marketing people, or another way to bring leads in. You know, I'm getting your name out there, but how are you collecting that? And we can talk about that in business coaching too. There's many ways you can collect leads, but I am not your marketing girl. I'm your PR girl. So that's the big difference.
That's huge. And when I've thought about it in the past, it's always been this kind of elusive thing. And then on the other side, I've been approached with salespeople, oh, I can get you on so-and-so. It's like, really, I know the deal with those people. You're on the very last page and it actually is just a paid ad, but you're spinning it. But now I can put the logo that I was on XYZ magazine, right? So I think there's some due diligence in who you're selecting to actually do real PR. And I'm wondering, you don't have to answer this question wholly, but for somebody who's a solopreneur, are your services within range, or do you offer like a do-it-yourself, get ready, and then we work together? Like, is it going to cost me $100,000 to work with you and get on Good Morning America?
No, actually not. I'm pretty reasonable for the industry. I love working with small businesses and startups. First, though, I want to dive into, I take a meeting with someone, I look and make sure you're completely ready, because I don't want to waste my time or your time. One thing is, if you're not ready, then I look silly as well.
Right. Yeah.
It's just not gonna, or they're not gonna land, and you're gonna get mad they're not landing. And it's like, we have to figure out why. And most of it's messaging. To be honest, a lot of people miss the messaging part. I will say, if you're gonna spend somewhere, spend on a copywriter, or that's one of the best places to do, is spend on that, because you might write the best copy. You might even be an author yourself, but sales copy on a page is way different copy than anything else. I mean, I didn't write my own copy. I have someone else doing it for me.
There you go. Well, my son just broke up with his girlfriend who just graduated as a copywriter. Like, man, what happened? We need to get the people lined up here. Yeah. So I will obviously be in the market for a copywriter as well, but that's awesome.
I have someone absolutely amazing. You would love her to pieces. She's worked with some really big names, but we can talk after. But yeah, as a coach, my prices they're very reachable, because I want you to have success and I want to get you to that next level. As a PR person, I've got different ranges that we can talk about. And, if it's the top of the line one, then they're higher. But if it's the very beginning ones, no, time is limited, of course. I work a certain amount. And it, like I said, it does take that 4 to 6 months. It's so great, because I have one client right now and we're at the, 4-month mark, maybe even 3. She's on fire. And it's just, oh my gosh. I mean, I think she's got 2 podcasts a week, and not to mention articles. And she's like so on fire. We're booked all the way through August for her. Which is
amazing. My gosh, that's awesome.
And again, it's the messaging. I worked with her from no platform to where we are. And so I think because so much heart and soul, we literally built her platform and created all the messaging, because I built it for the PR. I think it takes off faster, but yeah,
then you flow. I love that you are mindful of that. Some people will just, okay, sign up and I'm not responsible for results. I'm going to do the deal. And the fact that you've put together a system and help people actually get to results, that's amazing. I want to shift a little bit, because I'm thinking about the book that I want to write. And one of our other speakers, so this kind of plays in, Andrea Thiel is a documentary filmmaker. And so she's going to be in the conference as well. And I started working with her around your story matters. Like, I've always known I had a story to tell, but I really, I've been mindful, people are like, you may have, everybody has a story, but it's what's the impact, how do you tell it for effect and all of that. So I'm still working on that, but I do want to write a book. I want to write a book that is in alignment with our mission at I Am Fierce. And so take me through, how do you work with people? I've never done anything. All I know is there's, several different ways, kind of like the PR piece, no idea who to send anything to. I'm a blank slate. Tell me how I get started.
Absolutely. I guess the first question that I would ask is, what do you see your book as? Is it a self-help book? Is it your story? What genre would it be? Are you sure?
Yes. I mean, kind of a combination. I think when I think about the words, your story matters, what I want women to do is to be able to tell their story, good, bad, ugly, and find the message in that for themselves, but also to share with other people. And, in our I Am Fierce community, for me, it was really about, I used to be fierce. My hair kind of looks fierce now. But as I got older, I will up at about 42 and I looked in the mirror and I didn't even see myself. Like I literally thought somebody else was in my house. And so I started looking at that. First, it was a physical transformation. And I started looking a little bit deeper, and there was just a lot of stuff that I needed to go through. And as I did that, I recognized that, everybody does have a story. I'm not sure that mine makes it I know that it's any greater than anyone else's story, but I think a lot of people don't tell their story because of fear of judgment or, whatever. And so that's part of it, is just stepping into that fear space, having the confidence and knowing that I have a message to share that's going to help someone and that you do. So I would say it's kind of self-help in that let's go there and look at these things and then look at how you kind of rise from the ashes. That's the Phoenix. There's the title. There we go. We're done.
Love it.
So
I love it.
yeah. I think it does play into, this is a business that I'm growing. So I think it will further that message, but also it's just kind of a release for me. I think we deserve to tell our stories. So, and hopefully somebody will read them.
Yes. And I love that. Thank you for sharing, first of all.
Yeah.
I think too is in writing, you can write in so many different genres and it can always change as you're writing and whatnot. But what I say is if you have a platform, definitely see if it's aligned for, because you can always tell your story later if it doesn't align with the platform that you're at. You want to this is perfect for your platform. Then the other thing I would ask is which way to publish, but there's 3 ways to publish that not everybody knows about.
Okay.
You have standard publishing. Standard publishing is where you get money up front. They do have full control of the book, meaning like the title.
You pitch them on your idea and they're like, yeah, we need something in that space, and they fund you.
Exactly.
Okay.
And paying your platform. That's why also it's really important to have a platform. They're going to ask you, all they care about is how many books you're going to sell, how many emails are on your list. Those emails, those are the most important things to have. If you're going to pay for anything, get yourself to shows, show up and collect those emails, or get on talks and collect those emails. This is also where Publicist can come in too, because the same thing, those logos on there, they're going to ask, where have you been? Has she spoken before? Where? What? They want to see all the places you've spoken at. They want to see the whole platform. So that's really important to them. That being said, that's either if they take a meeting or not. Then it's how much are they going to pay you? And that has to do with what your reach is. And your reach is really important too. It's not just your reach, which is cool. So let's say you've got a friend of yours, the documentary person even, or you or me.
I have you now. Yeah.
You're like, hey, you want to send an email out for me? And I'd be like, sure. So then my reach is also your reach. So then they all add up. So soon before you know it, it's like, 1 million followers or whatever. We add them all up. So that's really important as well. But being said with this is they get to change the title if they want. They get to pick the cover. You're going to be a part of it, but they still get final say. The back end is around 15% that you would get. You do get into all the stores, which is super exciting.
Yeah.
Marketing, a little bit. Depends on your platform, who you are, but a little bit, not so much. You still want to have your own publicist with that, and they'll ask. Then you've got self-publishing on the opposite end of the spectrum. Self-publishing is where, and they pay for everything, right?
Right.
Whereas self-publishing, you pay for everything up front. You are not in bookstores. So this is a big one. Do you want to be in bookstores or not? Because you are not in bookstores with this one. You are all pretty much, you get the final say on everything, which is super exciting. And you get all the profit, but you're doing all the work.
Right.
So find the editor, the graphic design person, all of it. Then there's a middle route, which not everybody knows. And it's the best of both worlds, I feel like. And the middle route is called hybrid publishing. And hybrid publishing, you don't get paid up front, but they pay for everything up front. So that's exciting. You do get final say in the book cover and what it looks like and the names, everything. So that's exciting because you get control of that. You do get between 25 and 35% back end, which is really good. You do get under a publisher name. You need a book proposal for this one, and you need a book proposal for the traditional. The book proposals are what's going to get you in. Again, same thing. You're showing your reach, showing who you are, your platform, basically why this book would sell, how it's going to sell, your idea for marketing, a PR plan in there, comparative titles and analysis. By the way, I do all this for clients.
Oh, hey, yeah. I'm like,
So
okay,
much. But
5
this is
years
all
from now, maybe we'll get there.
It's actually, and it sounds so overwhelming, and it can be, but this is where I know what they want. So this is where I come in. As a coach, you bring me on, I help do the book proposal. It takes, I'm going to say it's really 6 weeks. It might take 8. There's been one person who's tried for 4. It was like 5, and her book was done, and she moved so fast. I mean, because it's also how fast we move. You know,
Do I have to have the book written before we start to send the proposal? Okay.
Don't do it. You have to have an idea for the name. You would have an idea for your chapters, you know, if it's 10 chapters, or, I mean, you can always add more later. That's not a problem. You're not glued to anything in the proposal, by the way, but you have to have the gist of it down. So at least 10 chapters, or it could be more, depending on if it's a novel or if it's a self-help or if it's a book, you know, whatever. But, and then a description of what each of those chapters are. Again, not glued, can totally change it later. You just want to get the deal first. Then you want to have 2 chapters written. That's it. 2.
Okay.
And what I recommend is, after we see all 10 that are written here, let me help you choose the 2 and then write about it. You want them totally different, you know? So if one's about rock bottom and then another one's about the top, that's right. Because you want to show them the 2 different styles, the highs and the lows of the book. So that's what I would recommend.
Gotcha.
And all the other stuff, like I do the marketing, I do the PR plan, I do the comparative titles. Like I know everything that they want on there. It's just what we do is generally when I'm working with someone, we meet one-on-one once a week, and depending on the schedule, but I like to keep it the same time because again, consistency is everything. And what we do is we work not just on the book proposal, but we're going to work simultaneously on your platform, because your platform has to match this. They're going to go to your website. They're going to look you up. We just need to make it clean and clear. Not that you have to go out and pay all this money for a web designer. I can actually like walk you through most things. That I suck at WordPress, but everything else.
I can help with WordPress. There you go.
As far as everything else, like I will help you organize all of it. It's all part of it. It's just literally creating this picture of you that's going to sell. So that way, if we go to the publisher or we go to the hybrid one, which is still a publisher, they're just, so for example, the hybrid is still under, I work a lot with Simon and Schuster. So Simon and Schuster,
there's top names. Yeah.
They have a division under them called Post Hill. Post Hill is a hybrid.
Okay.
It's still distributed by them. It still says distributed by Simon and Schuster. No one's going to know. It's
nice.
Good deal. I actually like that one, especially for first-time authors, because you won't really get a traditional, it's really hard to get a traditional publishing deal unless A, you're a celebrity, B, you've got a story that was in the news or that's so life-changing, that's just like, you know, a story worthy. Right. An influencer, or for your platform is dynamic. Like it's, you don't know who you are, but like it looks dynamic. That's when you'll get your book proposal. Like it's got to be so bomb. The hybrid one is a little easier to get. I mean, like my one client, like I was talking about earlier, she had no platform. She had a cool story and her book is awesome. And so we got it. So again, the book proposal was so amazing that they were like, yay,
we got this. Okay. A lot of people tell me to, like, you don't want to write a book to make money necessarily. Right. And so how do you guide people to know when it's the right time, you know, to tell their story? And in this package of PR, what's your guidance around that?
Sure. So books always help elevate your career. It amplifies you. You know, if you've already got some products out or you're already speaking, I advise it. If you want to speak, a book is the way to go, because you can sell your books. That's a great thing too, is if you buy your books at cost, basically, you get to go and sign them and sell them. You can make some money off of it. You also can get easier talks that way. It just really helps elevate the career so much. It's amazing. And you get seen by so many people out there.
Everybody. Yeah.
But again, it has to feel good to you. It has to just flow. If you're stuck and you're just like, I want to write this, but I'm not sure. And if we're working together and the idea isn't flowing right away, I'm going to say, let's try and shift this up a little bit, you know? So most people that come to me have an idea in their head. I don't think I've had one person that took a pause.
Okay.
And it's because she changed her business and she wasn't sure she felt aligned with, and I said, you know what? you're so not sure right now, I think you need to take a pause and take the time to figure out where your business is, know you and know yourself and your passion and what you're really putting out there before you write the book, because it's going to change. And then you might say this today, because no, this book comes out in, well, traditional publishing, 14 months.
Okay.
Where you're writing now, if it's traditional, you better still believe it in 14 months. You're going to be pitching it for
Or you're going to, yeah.
Yeah.
Wrong message. Absolutely.
Exactly. So
very cool. I love it. I could talk to you about this all night, and I have a feeling we need to connect further and see in multiple areas here. But on the book side, I know you've got a workshop that's coming up. Tell us a little bit about that. How can people connect with you and, either for the book publishing piece or getting into PR? How do we do that?
Absolutely. Thank you. On June 28th, which is a Wednesday, I am doing a free class called Get Paid to Write Your Book. It's at noon Eastern time. That way all time zones can get it, except for my dear Australian friends. I'm sorry, I have the replay, but I was trying to accommodate everybody. However, if you can't make it, that's okay. You can message me or in our Facebook group, which you'll get once you sign up, you'll get the link to it. You can write your questions there if you can't make it. I'll make sure that I answer them during the live. That way you can always go watch the replay and your questions answered. I want to make sure everything. But yeah, it's Get Paid to Write Your Book. And what I'm going to do is explain the different ways to publish. You're all going to walk with your very own book proposal skeleton, which is very, ours is just fantastic. I worked really hard on this one. And I'm going to answer everyone's questions and talk about the different ways and how it all looks and get you started on that way. And hopefully I'm going to get as much information as I can. It's only an hour. I will have a guest speaker as well, someone that worked with me that she can talk about what she did and her way of where she is to where she is now.
Okay.
And yeah, if anyone has any questions after, again, I'm always there. So thank you. And it's Bridgetta.com. It'll be on my website. There's a pop-up that you can sign on, or if you scroll the bottom of my site, it'll also have it there.
On there. Okay. And I will put the link to your website in the notes for the recording so everybody can get, and that's June 12th. What day? It's next Wednesday, right?
It's Wednesday, the 28th. So
the 28th. Okay. Awesome. So a couple weeks from now. So noon, we will be there. We're going to go through and come out with a book proposal outline. How awesome is that? Bridgetta, thank you so much for taking time to talk. This actually is an area that I've been a little scared to play in and really not knowing who to reach out to. Because like I said, it's been kind of the charlatans, and how do you know? I'm not really famous yet. So like, how do I get somebody that's worked with Val Kilmer? So thank you so much for taking time. This has been super valuable. You guys definitely reach out to Bridgetta, whether it's now or down the road as you get your things in line. I would reach out now so you can get kind of the checklist and figure out what you need to do to build up to that. I think that's always a barrier too, is people like, oh, I'm not ready. It's okay if you're not ready. You just need to know it's time to go to the next level. So thank you so much for being here tonight. Very much appreciated. And you guys tune in for our next session. It's going to be awesome. All right. Have a good night.
Bye.